Kabianga, Premier, Ngoina Road. Kisha tumalizie Letain. Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
A new study by the Aga Khan reveals that every 4 of 10 health workers in this country are experiencing depression.
Also in the broadcast, Kenya Railways introduces electric locomotives as part of fleet modernization. And in sports,
FIFA reiterates its commitment in mediating leadership wrangles within the Kenya Football Federation.
And it is Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we embrace the African culture and heritage through the African wear and much more.
That's right.
And today is no different.
It's no different, absolutely.
We have the touch of African prints on Prime Edition.
On Prime Edition. We're live from Broadcasting House coming to you from here in Nairobi. Let's take a look at our top stories tonight.
Okay, so that now I'll deliver a ruling at 2 p.m. tomorrow. 2 p.m. Okay.
Day in courts.
9 students are arraigned in connection with Utimishi Girls' senior school fire incident. Ebola quarantine facility row.
High Court extends ban on establishment of the center in Laikipia as one person succumbs to injuries following Monday's protests against the facility.
Plus,
a mother's betrayal.
Fury in Moranga as residents demand justice for a 13-year-old girl who was allegedly sexually exploited and impregnated by her mother's lover. From wherever you're watching in Kenya and around the world, thank you for joining us. I'm Mboya.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Lensa Odingo. Talk to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. On to our late story, Tom.
That's right. President William Ruto says that the 750-kilometer Isiolo-Mandera Road under construction in the north will soon become a reality.
He was speaking while inspecting the Tarbaj Kotulo stretch of the road. At the same time, he told off his critics, saying his development track record speaks for itself.
Now, the president maintained he will push for more resources to northern Kenya to ensure that he corrects historical injustices and marginalization of the region.
Here is that report.
By Giverson Minor.
President William Ruto on Tuesday completed his 3-day walking tour in Wajir County. The head of state inspected the Wajir Tarbach Kotulo Road that is part of the highly popularized 750-kilometer Isiolo-Mandera Road. He said the road project, dubbed the Horn of Africa Gateway Development, is expected to cost 100 billion Kenyan shillings and will open up the north for development.
Hii barabara nimekuja kuangalia na macho yangu. Kwa sababu propaganda ni nyingi. Kwa sababu siasa chafu ni nyingi. Kwa sababu matapeli ni wengi. Wale wanasema hakuna kitu inafanyika. Wale wanasema haitawezekana. lakini tunasema inshallah Mungu atatujalia hii barabara itajengwa na Northern Kenya itabadilika.
Wakasema it's a false promise, ni uongo, it will not happen. It has happened. Imekuwa, barabara ndio hii inaendelea.
Hawajawachwa nyuma.
He later launched the construction of a 580-bed elders teaching training college, students' hostels, and commissioned elders water supply project before heading to Garissa, where he launched Malimin mini grid in Lagdera. The president reiterating his commitment to ensure Northeastern region gets a fair share of the national cake.
Na tunajenga barabara hapa kwa sababu ni haki ya watu wa Northern Kenya, kwa sababu hii ni sehemu ya taifa letu la Kenya, and we are one people with a common destiny.
Serikali ya hasla ndio ilikuja Wajia Orehe grounds ikatoa ile kitu ya ubaguzi ambaye jamii ya Wasomali na Waislamu walikuwa wanaambiwa mkitaka ID na passporti na birth certificate, ili mtoto Mjaluo, mtoto Mkikuyu, mtoto Msomali na Mkalenjin na Wakenya wakuwe sawa.
He used the occasion to popularize his re-election campaign in the 2027 general elections, faulting the opposition of spreading propaganda and empty political rhetoric.
Wengine walikuwa wananikejeli ati mimi na building the road to nowhere. Mimi nataka niwaambie Northern Kenya is not nowhere. Northern Kenya is Kenya.
Alipoanza kuimba mambo ya Isiolo, Kulamawe, Madogashe, Samatar, Wajia, Kutulo, paka Mandera, wakora walianza kucheza kwa TikTok.
He also challenged the region to ensure their children go to school as well as enroll for SHA. Give us Nmaena Prime Edition.
The High Court has extended conservatory orders issued on Thursday to stop the establishment and operationalization of any Ebola-related quarantine facility in the country.
Lady Justice Patricia Nyaundi has further ordered the government to give full disclosure of the quarantine facility. This is after Katiba Institute informed the court that they were denied entry to the Laikipia quarantine site.
This as one person succumbs to injuries from Monday's anti-Ebola quarantine protest in Nanyuki, while two others are nursing serious injuries.
Kenya High Court Judge Patricia Nyaundi has extended conservatory orders barring the government from establishing or operating an Ebola quarantine and treatment facility under an agreement with the United States. The ruling also extended the block on admitting, transferring or receiving anyone exposed to or infected with the virus into the country. These orders were issued following a constitutional petition filed by the Katiba Institute and the Law Society of Kenya on Thursday last week.
We are proud of our judiciary that has stood firm to ensure that there is transparency and as well as accountability here in Kenya.
In Nanyuki, one person died while two others sustained gunshot wounds in yesterday's anti-Ebola protest. A family in Baraka area on the outskirts of Nanyuki is mourning the death of their son, who was allegedly killed during Monday's protest in the town. The Ministry of Health has sanctioned daily meetings to assess the Ebola status in the country. Public Health and Professional Standards Principal Mary Mudhoni says Kenya has not confirmed any case so far.
We have a total of suspected Ebola virus disease samples that have been tested, which is 22 as at this morning, and all of them have turned negative.
According to Mudhoni, stringent measures have been put in place to deal with any Ebola threat, with over 1,000 health officers trained on response case management and infection prevention.
We equally have a felt team that has been trained in the country of 90 healthcare workers. We also have other healthcare workers that have really been trained lately, about 70 of them. So we have capacity in case of a surge that we may deploy the healthcare workers.
According to the government, 25 counties have been categorized as either very high risk or high risk. The very high risk counties are Uasin Gishu, Busia, Kisumu, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, Siaya, West Pokot, Turkana, Homa Bay, and Migori counties. Kenya-Uganda border has heightened Ebola virus surveillance measures following the confirmation of 11 positive cases and 1 death linked to the deadly disease. Health authorities from both countries have intensified monitoring and screening activities at border entry and exit points to prevent the spread of the virus among residents and cross-border traders.
It's 10 minutes past the top of the hour, and we're taking a short break. Coming up,
Utumishi Ason updates. Also, we'll be telling about the protest against the GBV.
And coming up also the beneficiaries of the Nyota program to receive the second tranche before the end of this month. All that coming up after the short break. Stay with us.
Wakenya kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Ijumaa tarehe 5 mwezi Juni tutazuru eneo la Eldoret kuanzia Cheptiret, Ngeria, Annex, Naiberi, Kipkorgot Junction, Sogomo, Moiben, Moisbridge, Soi, Juakali, Maili 4, Huruma, Eldoret City, Langas na baadaye Kapseret. Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
In regards to General Tao's accident, we constables feel great sadness. Starting from this day, you are the new Requiem General of this street. You'll decide the rules of Rakshasa Street.
Those who die here shall remain in ghostdom forever.
Not only can he help you, he's the only one who can help you.
Justin! Yes, vijana na Justin. Kabisa.
Na nisikusikie ukiongea vibaya kuhusu mchungaji ama mtumishi wa Mungu.
Unaenda kanisa? Ya, kama unaenda kanisa.
Uongo.
Unajua yeye anaweza kulani wewe Josh wewe.
Kuna mtu mwingine unadanganya kwa hiki kijiji.
Neno litasimama. Basi inatuombe.
Nikusaidie vipi? Mr. Andrew hapa ni kama babangu.
Nimetembea na mgeni. Titu dakika moja. Tumekuja kukualika hiyo event ya Jumamosi. Nikuje kukula tu, alafu baadaye nisipigie Andrew kura.
If you have a minute to spare, tunaweza rudi ndani tusemezane kidogo.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube.
The fate of 9 students linked to the Utumishi Girls Senior School fire tragedy will be known on Wednesday.
The court is set to rule on a plea by the prosecution to detain them for 30 days to allow investigations into a fire at the school that left 16 dead.
The 9 were presented in Naivasha court, where they are set to be charged with, among other charges, arson and murder. Nancy Okware with that report.
Security was beefed up at Naivasha law courts in Nakuru County as 9 students linked to the arson attack at Utumishi Girls Senior School were arraigned in court. The suspects' faces remained concealed during the case. Presenting its case, the prosecution sought to have them detained for 30 days to enable investigators conclude investigations. They also argued that releasing them would put their lives in danger due to the public outrage on the matter. However, their lawyers questioned grounds for detention without any formal charges having been preferred against them.
Your Honor, There is only one issue that should engage the mind of the court as to whether a suspect should be released on bond or not. We submit that the prosecution has not established a compelling reason.
Does the prosecution try to tell you that these children, if you release them, they are going to those separate homes, look for the other children, convince them not to come and testify against them? It's ridiculous.
They will remain in custody until Wednesday afternoon, when a ruling will be made on whether to continue detaining them or they will be released on bond.
So that now I'll deliver a ruling at 2 p.m. tomorrow. 2 p.m.
Nancy Okwari, Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, the government has moved to strengthen child protection systems across the country in the wake of the tragic fire incident at Tutumishi Girls Academy last week, where 16 students lost their lives.
Principal Secretary for Children's Services, CPA, Karen Agengo, says the tragedy exposed deep gaps in child safety, mental health support, and early warning mechanisms within schools, prompting urgent reforms to the National Child Helpline 116.
Joseph Ohungu reports.
Speaking during a stakeholders briefing meeting in Nairobi, the Principal Secretary, CPA, Karen Agengo, termed the Utumishi Girls Academy fire tragedy a timely reminder on the urgent need for stronger child protection and early intervention systems in the country.
If we have a helpline in place that can serve the whole of this country, the children of this nation, probably we would also avoid what has happened.
The PS said the incident is part of a broader pattern of emerging child protection challenges, especially within learning institutions where emotional distress, strained relationships and mental health struggles are increasingly being reported. The PS announced that to avert further tragedies, the government is working to transform the National Child Helpline 116 into a fully fledged National Child Protection Contact Center.
It's not just you call and then you're transferred to somebody. It is a call, a helpline that will provide counseling services. So we have staff there who are counselors.
As the board of Childline Kenya, I'd like to reiterate our commitment to be part of this process in terms of mobilizing resources, contributing to strong governance systems and also accountability.
Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
On to a story we highlighted for you at the beginning of the broadcast. Residents of Ruanganga village in Kigumo constituency, Murang'a County, are demanding justice for a 13-year-old girl who was allegedly defiled and impregnated.
Now, according to the residents, the authorities failed to act in time despite repeated reports of the girl's woes.
They are now demanding the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators.
Now, the mother of the teenager has since been picked up by police for questioning amid claims her lover, believe it or not, was responsible for defiling and impregnating her.
Tess Mutai compiled this report.
Ruanganga Village, Kahumbu Ward in Kigumo constituency. Irate residents held demonstrations demanding justice for the minor who is currently at a rescue center.
Nasikia vibaya sana juu ya huyu mtoto. Juu hata wakati tulifanya maandamano mara ya kwanza, tuliita chief, tukampigia simu kutoka saa 2 asubuhi na hadi saa 11, saa 12 ndio alifika. Saa zile tulimuuliza kwa nini tulimuita na tumekaa hapo sana, hata huyo mama tulikuwa na yeye alisema hatuwezi kumfundisha kazi.
According to the residents, the girl's mother, a 35-year-old woman, had allegedly neglected and exposed her 13-year-old daughter to sexual exploitation. They further faulted Kigumo's Children's Office of failing to act expeditiously to rescue the girl despite several reports.
Tangu hii maneno ifanyike, walijua hii maneno imefanyika kama miezi 2 ambayo iliyopita. Kuna wanaume 3 ambao wamehusika na kumnajisi, na pili makosa ya mamake kuficha hawa wanajisi. Kwa hivyo wote ni watu wako na hatia wakiwa nne.
The residents say the 13-year-old girl had assumed the responsibility for caring for her 3 younger siblings due to her mother's alleged neglect.
Nataka serikali tusaidie ndio huyu mtoto apate haki. Tumejaribu kutafuta chief na maandamano na mzee wa kijiji akatusupport akatuitia chief, lakini chief hatukujua venye aliendelea. Jua kutuambia chochote.
They claim the mother frequented local drinking dens, leaving her to provide for the family.
Sasa hii area yetu imeharibika juu ya ukunywaji wa pombe. Pombe ndio mingi huku. Watu hawashughuliki na watoto. Tunataka children's officer wakuje hapa wachunge hawa watoto.
3 suspects accused of defiling the minor are on the run. Her mother is being held for questioning. For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Now, Kenya's healthcare workforce is facing a growing mental health crisis.
A new study by the Aga Khan University Brain and Mind Institute reveals that more than 4 in every 10 healthcare workers are experiencing symptoms of depression, raising concerns about the well-being of frontline medical staff and the resilience of the country's health system.
Here's that report.
Findings from the Aga Khan University Brain and Mind Institute paint a concerning picture of the mental health challenges facing healthcare workers in Kenya.
We wanted to actually understand what makes the health workers work optimally, work the best.
This study had 2 aspects to it. One, to test new methodologies and how we can use technology to actually define mental health.
Conducted over a 12-month period across 5 hospitals in Nairobi, the research gathered data from 514 healthcare workers. The study, known as Uzima Data Science Study, found that 43.1% of healthcare workers surveyed reported experiencing depressive symptoms. 16.9% of respondents experienced moderately severe depressive symptoms, while 5.5% reported severe symptoms.
People who reported having high symptoms of depression also reported medication errors. So that, like a doctor who's prescribing medication, when they come back and check later, they find that they made a mistake.
Younger healthcare workers and those early in their careers were found to be particularly vulnerable. Researchers say the findings show that mental health challenges among healthcare workers are driven by, among others, workplace stress, organizational culture, discrimination, and limited support systems.
That people who tended to have a lot of depression also indicated that they had workplace discrimination. So this was associated very closely.
The study also identified opportunities for intervention, with many healthcare workers expressing willingness to use digital mental health tools such as mobile applications and wearable technologies for monitoring and support.
Systems should be put in place to help the healthcare workers seek help when they feel overwhelmed. They don't have to feel stigmatized at workplace because of one issue or another.
Mariambo reporting for the Prime Edition.
On to the Nyota updates, a report compiled by Jackie Masharia. Beneficiaries of the Nyota program will receive the second tranche of business startup capital by June 30th this year, with all payments set to be disbursed simultaneously rather than in phases.
The Principal Secretary, State Department for MSMEs Development, Mangeni, while acknowledging the delays in disbursement, assured that plans are now in place to ensure the release happens within the set timeline.
Mangeni said the Nyota project remains among the government's flagship initiatives aimed at promoting youth entrepreneurship and addressing unemployment through business support and economic empowerment programs.
The government acknowledges the increasing inquiries and the concerns from the beneficiaries on the disbursement of the second tranche and regrets the delay, which inadvertently is caused by the compression of the project and concentration of the attendant budgetary requirements in one fiscal year, necessitating budgetary enhancement. We wish to announce and also confirm that the disbursement for the second tranche of business startup capital will happen by 30th June. By 30th June 2026. This is before the end of this current financial year. And all the beneficiaries will receive the grants at the same time, unlike the first tranche disbursement, which was phased out in clusters.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow. Uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Alhamisi ya tarehe 4 mwezi Juni tazuru eneo la Kericho kuanzia Total. Kisha tuingie Kedoa, Londiani Junction, Brook, Kericho Town, Kapsoita, Sosiota, Kabianga, Premier, Ngoina Road. Kisha tumalizie Letain. Tarehe 30 Juni kwa mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube.
Now, the Senate Public Accounts Committee is set to make recommendations on administrative action against accountants in Kericho County for submitting inaccurate financial statements to the Auditor General.
The senators have raised concerns over the incompetence and suitability of accountants who prepared financial statements with unexplained variance of over 15 billion shillings.
Now, following the inaccuracies, Kericho County was the only county that the Auditor General gave an adverse opinion in the financial year 2024-2025.
Here is that report.
Do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall keep.
In what appears to be an effort to cultivate a cordial relationship between Kericho County Executive and the Senate, the Governor Eric Mutai finally appeared before the Senate Public Accounts Committee after paying a fine of 500,000 shillings for snubbing committee's invites and summons. The committee now putting the governor to task to explain measures he had taken to address the issues raised by the Auditor General.
How come one county out of 47 had an adverse opinion? Are there certain conditions that were there that did not affect the other counties?
Yes, the report and the opinion of the auditor from these statements is adverse. And the purpose of us coming here is to see whether there are matters that has been resolved or not. And that is the reason why we are before this committee today.
In the 2024-2025 financial year, Kericho County was the only county that got unfavorable opinion from the Auditor General, meaning the financial statements submitted by the Kericho County were misleading and inaccurate. The senators taking issue with the competence and suitability of accountants in Kericho County.
The financial statement with a variance of 15.2 billion has been signed by two CPAs, CPA Dr. George Kirai and CPA Fernandez Corif, and their ISPAC numbers are presented there. They are not prepared by a T-plucker. They are prepared by professionals.
Of key concern to the senators was why the County Executive Committee member for Finance failed to establish a committee to oversee the transition from cash to accrual accounting thereby resulting in an explained variance of over 15 billion shillings in the audit report.
Lack of leadership and coordination. That's the Auditor General. So it's not from our mouths, it's from this report. And that, if that is not the reason why you got an adverse opinion, then we'll try to find out whether there are other reasons. But we feel that that was the beginning of the problems.
I'm sorry for doing it outside the timeline.
Well, it's already an adverse opinion.
We knew.
So you can't apologize for an audit report that has already been adopted.
You see, in this transitioning to accrual, we have been given 3 years to transition. So it's not. This was the first year.
The Kericho County Governor is expected back before the Senate's Watchdog Committee to respond to audit queries regarding irregular payment of legal fees. Gishoke Washira, Prime Edition.
The County Assembly of Kericho.
Let's now take you back to the corridors of justice. Nairobi Court has declined an application by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution to withdraw a 356 million shillings theft case against Oki Company Director, ruling that the grounds advanced for terminating the proceedings had not been sufficiently established.
Milimani Trial Magistrate Rose Ndombi Tuesday ruled that criminal proceedings against Hani Katwani, a director of Oki General Trading Limited, should proceed in accordance with the law.
And as Ruth Mboya reports, the ruling means Katwani's case will continue to its logical conclusion before the Milimani's lower courts.
Justice and the need to prevent or avoid abuse of
The Director of Public Prosecution has suffered a major blow after Principal Magistrate Rose Ndombi ordered that the case against Hani Katwani, a Director of Oki General Trading Limited, should proceed to full hearing.
Although there exists a civil suit between the parties hearing, who is the complainant and the accused person, that the two matters are distinct and that they have nothing to do with each other, and also stated that the same does not bar the court from proceeding with the criminal matter.
The ruling arose from an application by the prosecution seeking to withdraw the case under Section 87A of the Criminal Procedure Code. Ndombi said while the Director of Public Prosecution has constitutional powers to withdraw criminal proceedings, the exercise of that authority is subject to judicial oversight.
Such an outcome would not serve the interest of justice. The court is therefore not persuaded that sufficient grounds have been established to warrant the exercise of its discretion in favor of the withdrawal at this stage. Accordingly, application by the DPP under Section 87A of the Criminal Procedure Code is declined.
Katwani is facing charges of allegedly stealing 356 million shillings from the company between January 2020 and June 2024 while serving as one of its directors.
For avoidance of doubt, this court makes no finding that the accused person committed perjury or any other offense. Any determination in that regard shall only be made after investigation.
The prosecution alleges that the accused acquired the money by the virtue of his position in the company. Ruth Mboya for Prime Edition.
Now, the country has made significant gains in the fight against avoidable blindness, with prevalence rates falling by nearly 50% over the years through joint efforts between government, counties and development partners.
Speaking during celebrations to mark 20 years of the Kenya-Australia partnership in eye health, head of eye health section at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Monica Bitok, and West Pokot's Governor Simon Kachapin hailed the partnership for helping eliminate trachoma as a major public health threat in the country.
Joseph Ohungu reports.
For 2 decades, the Kenya-Australia partnership in eye health has transformed thousands of lives across the country, restoring sight and bringing hope to communities once burdened by preventable blindness. Speaking during the celebrations, head of eye health section at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Monica Bitok, warned that more than 200,000 Kenyans are still living with blindness, while many others suffer visual impairment, particularly in rural and underserved areas.
We are in the process of developing a primary eye care manual that can enable us to be able to
capacity build our primary healthcare workers so that they can offer basic eye care services, and also identify those who need referral, the complex cases that need referral to the eye care units, given that the number of eye care workers that we have are very few.
At the same time, West Pokot Governor Simon Kachapin announced that trachoma prevalence in West Pokot has fallen below the World Health Organization's threshold, marking a major public health achievement for the country.
For the last decade, over 6,000 surgeries, successful surgeries has been done for those who have been affected by trachoma, and 2,500 patients who are suffering with cataract have been assisted. We have a vision that by 2030, which is 4 years from now, we will have eliminated trachoma in West Pokot.
As Kenya and Australia celebrate the 2 decades of collaboration, stakeholders say the next chapter must focus on expanding access to affordable eye care services, increasing awareness, and ensuring no Kenya loses sight from preventable causes.
Obviously, there's a long way to go. And part of that is around, the cost of services. Part of it is around awareness amongst communities about what eye care health there is out there.
There are still parts of the community that have challenges accessing affordable eye services, and so we want to continue to work with the government and with our partners.
Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
28 days to the lapse of the June 30th deadline for Kenyans to file returns, the Kenya Revenue Authority has ruled out the possibility of extending the deadline.
KRA says that its deployment of multiple platforms for Kenyans to file their returns has eased access for eligible taxpayers to file their returns.
The taxman has called on Kenyans to leverage the simplified and cost-efficient self-care plan for filing returns through WhatsApp or a short code number.
Now, the File and Pay campaign, dubbed Jijue G Better, entered Nakuru County. They made several stops to sensitize the public in Naivasha, in Gilgil, in Subukia, in Bahati, Maili Tisa, and in Nakuru Town.
The campaign by KRA is in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
So those in employment, it's now very simple and easy and fast for you to file your tax returns, because you can do that through the WhatsApp number that is provided. Now, beyond that, we know that there's eTeams registration, we know that there's validation of income and expenses. We do have a support framework that's supporting the current roadshow, and that's in the office. So if you call the contact center number, you will be supported. This time round, we're saying, please file your tax returns, file them in good time, file them before the 30th of June, because we don't want to clog the system and not to be able to support you as the taxpayer.
Residents of Malindi have lauded a ruling by the Environment and Land Court that ordered the closure and relocation of the Malindi dump site located near Kasaurina area.
Now, the residents say that there has been concerns about poor disposal of waste, including medical waste, from healthcare facilities finding its way to dump site due to inadequate disposal mechanisms.
Environmental groups have welcomed the decision, saying it reinforces the principle that development and public services must be implemented within the framework of environmental law.
For years, this dump site has stood as a symbol of growing frustration among residents of Malindi. Now, after a 4-year legal battle, residents have finally secured a landmark court victory. In a judgment delivered on May 26th, the Environment and Land Court ordered the closure and relocation of the dump site operating on land near the Kasaurina area.
Watu wa Muyeye wamefurahi. Muyeye si Muyeye tu,
watu wa Malindi kwa umoja wamefurahi sana na uamuzi wa mahakama, kwa sababu ni hali ambayo imetuathiri kwa muda mrefu sana. Tumekuwa tukihangaika na magonjwa, tumekuwa tunasumbuliwa na magonjwa ambayo yanasababishwa na hii moshi ambao unatoka pale kwa timbotaka.
For members of the Progress Welfare Association of Malindi and the Malindi Residents Development Group, the ruling marks the culmination of years of advocacy.
The landmark ruling that was done on Tuesday is a win for the environment, is a win for the people of Malindi. Is a win for me, is a win for everybody in Kenya, because, you know, like now the county governments in different counties knows that there's some rules that they have to follow when it comes to waste management.
Residents say the impact extended far beyond Casuarina.
These lethal fumes didn't just affect the Casuarina area, it affected all of Mboya, which has a vast population of children and young people and schools and children homes. But it went all the way from the marine park through the Casuarina area and through town, all the way beyond Sabaki River.
The county government of Kilifi and Malindi municipality have been ordered to pay 120 million shillings in compensation to the petitioners. Environmental groups have welcomed the decision, saying it reinforces the principle that development and public service must be implemented within the framework of environmental law.
Our aim is to ensure Malindi grows up with better facilities, with clean air, with clean town, with better roads.
However, as the residents celebrate, those who relied on the dump site for survival are affected.
Kuna watu ambao wanaishi hapa kama wakazi ambao tunaishi hapa na tunategemewa sisi pia kwa sababu ya afya zetu waweze kuitoa hii dumping site na waipeleke maeneo mengine.
They are now appealing to the county government to ensure relocation plans, including alternative livelihoods opportunities and social protection measures.
Tutashukuru sana kama ni kupima alafu tupewe total deed. Tutashukuru sana. Maana temu hii hatuna mahali kwa kuenda. Sisi tumezaliwa hapa na hapa ndo kwetu.
Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Aaron Marie.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
It's a good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Time now for business news. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Some cereals in the Kenyan market have high levels of aflatoxin contamination, which is posing food safety and public health risks. The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO, Director General Patrick Kitiem says samples collected from some markets showed contamination levels exceeding recommended safety standards.
The Kenya Bureau of Standards say it is stepping up surveillance on food sold in local markets to tackle the sale of contaminated produce and ensure that products sold in Kenya meet safety standards.
If it is not safe, it is not food. And this is the message that we want everybody to have, because this is a shared responsibility that you should not trend.
The enhanced surveillance is expected to tackle cases of food contamination, with the Kenya Agriculture, Livestock and Research Organization indicating that some samples that were tested had contamination levels of up to 500 parts per billion against the required 10 parts per billion.
The only acceptable limit by World Health Organization is 10. So the story which you just hear, it's only 10. By the way, if you pass 10, it can be accepted. But in our Kenya markets, we are selling up to 500, 400. It's a range. If you get a good one, possibly you get 500, 400.
They are challenging cereal retailers to step up testing of products on their shelves.
We need the consumers to be more demanding, to ask the right questions in the market. Where was this food grown? What chemicals were used on it? How was it handled as it came to the market, so that we ensure the continuity of that food through the market.
Small-scale traders and farmers are concerned about the cost of testing services.
Cost of food safety testing remains prohibitive for most smallholder farmers.
They say proper food handling is key in reducing contamination.
There is more need to create awareness to ensure that the population understands really the burden that we are facing because of unsafe food.
They were speaking in Nairobi during the annual World Food Safety Day celebrations. Benson Rioba, reporting for Prime Edition.
Serious concerns there, bearing in mind that aflatoxin is highly harmful to your health, and in some cases it can lead to various forms of cancer. Let's hope the concerned authorities will take necessary measures to ensure that the food that we are consuming is safe. Agriculture mechanization remains low in Kenya despite the country having a mechanization policy since the year 2021. Currently, less than 40% of agricultural processes in Kenya are mechanized, affecting production and leading to serious post-harvest losses. Elgon Kenya Managing Director Bimal Kantaria says access to financing remains a major obstacle, preventing many smallholder farmers from adopting modern agricultural technologies.
According to the Ministry of Agriculture statistics, the use of motorized power in Kenya stands at 38%, manual power at 60%, and animal draught power at 30% as of 2024. The country plans to push this to 50% of motorized power as per the Kenya Vision 2030. Kenya's main types of mechanization include the use of animal drawn and motorized machinery, implements, and equipment. In 2021, the country launched the Agriculture Sector Mechanization Policy to help in the development and management of mechanization in the country. Stakeholders in the agriculture sector are calling for stronger partnerships between agricultural equipment providers and financial institutions to expand access to mechanization and boost productivity in the sector. Elgon Kenya Managing Director Bimal Kantaria says while modern farming technologies have the potential to improve yields, reduce post-harvest losses and enhance efficiency, the high cost of acquiring equipment remains beyond the reach for many farmers.
But we're targeting the small farmer here. 25 horsepower, 35 horsepower. Within about 1.5 to 2 million shillings, you can get your tractor. And we're very excited that the government is also pushing for farm mechanization. That will increase our productivity massively.
To address this challenge, agricultural equipment suppliers are increasingly partnering with financial institutions to offer flexible financing arrangements that allow farmers to acquire machinery through manageable repayment plans.
Very excited that we're partnering with Equity Bank and Stanbic Bank, who are going to offer financing between 85-95%, depending on the client itself. But the big banks are very happy to be part of the financing model.
Ndutamokami for Prime Edition.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Railways is introducing electric locomotives and units as part of a fleet modernization program aimed at improving passenger as well as freight services amid growing demand. Kenya Railways Managing Director Philip Mainga says the upgrade is being undertaken alongside the rehabilitation of Kenya Railways network to boost efficiency, capacity and reliability.
The meter gauge railway network supports commuter services, long-distance passenger trains and freight operations, relying on a combination of legacy rolling stock and refurbished coaches. Kenya Railways is working with development partners to upgrade its fleet as passenger numbers and cargo volumes continue to grow.
We are partnered with World Bank in some of the areas, and we think we need additional rolling stock. They are called EMUs, electric multiple units, not DMUs. We are thinking of going electric, especially in Nairobi. We want to use green energy, and we are working on something that maybe will come up soon.
The plans were highlighted during the relaunch of the Gilgil-Nyahururu railway line, which had remained dormant for 46 years. Officials say demand for rail transport is increasing, particularly along corridors linking rural areas to major towns, as travelers seek affordable and reliable transport options.
Sisi kama Ministry of Defense kujenga hizi railway station, hiyo ni muhimu, lakini sio muhimu zaidi. Ile muhimu sisi watu wa Orokarao, watu wa Nyahururu, watu wa Gilgil tuweze kusaidika kutoka kwa hii railway station ama railway service.
Na kwenda Nairobi ni 350. Tumefurahia zaidi kwa sababu sasa pesa zenye zitabaki tutakuwa tukinunua chakula.
Kwangu itanisaidia, mimi napenda kutembea. Sasa kama leo sasa lazima nifike Nyahururu, nione Thompson Falls, nirudi.
For context, a single commuter coach like this one can carry 250 seated and standing passengers, while long-distance trains are equipped with first-class cabins and restaurant cars to enhance the travel experience.
So the demand of these coaches is what now is coming in, and I want to assure you we are adding what we call more lorry stock, more coaches into our system.
Kenya Railways currently operates 70 passenger coaches across its commuter safari and regional services, including trains serving the Kisumu, Nanyuki, and newly revived Nyahururu routes.
What is on your screen is a train that has arrived from Nairobi. The people from this region are saying that it will be a major social economic boost coming from Nairobi, carrying their goods up to this region here at the Nyahururu station. Alan Aoko, Prime Edition.
You know, some very interesting development there, and that train from Nairobi all the way to Nyahururu has the capacity to become the Kenyan version of the Blue Train, which links the city of Pretoria with Cape Town and is one of the most luxurious train journeys in the world. Kenya and South Korea have agreed to strengthen trade relations and limit barriers that limit access to Kenyan agricultural products to the South Korean market. The two countries have agreed to strengthen technical teams that will help identify trade barriers and recommend remedial measures. Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has said the two nations will also explore cooperations in the fields of technology and climate change.
Two-way trade traffic between Kenya and South Korea was recorded at 40 billion shillings in 2025, with Korean exports to Kenya accounting for more than 70% of the total trade. Kenya's exports to South Korea remain low due to string export controls and tough phytosanitary standards.
The challenges we face today can be better addressed and transformed into opportunities if Korea and Africa bring together our experiences and strengths.
Speaking during the ongoing Africa-South Korea ministerial meeting in Seoul, Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has said the two countries will focus on expanding trade, investment, technology, supply chains and industrial development, as well as addressing climate change and sustainable development.
The Korean government remains Kenya's leading partner in technology and the digital economy. It has invested in Kenya's Konza Technopolis, the country's smart city project, and special economic zone. We have also achieved important bilateral cooperation projects such as the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, Kenya ICT, which was chartered and commissioned in May this year.
Mudavadi has called on African nations to move away from aid dependency and embrace trade, investment, industrialization and value addition as the continent seeks deeper economic cooperation with South Korea.
Our meeting takes place amid growing geopolitical turbulence that has disrupted economic cooperation and development. This is alongside concerns over the erosion of the United Nations' role in conflict resolution and rising threats to multilateralism. In this context, the Global South must begin to strategically prepare for the world beyond the current order. This is an opportune moment for us to rethink and recalibrate our trade pathways.
African ministers attending the meeting have urged South Korea to expand its institutional presence in Africa to help build confidence among Korean investors and provide direct access to information on business opportunities across the continent.
And at that point, we come to the end of business news for tonight. I'm always encouraging you to visit our website, which is www.kbc.co.ke/business. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Bernard Otieno is coming up next. I mean, Bernard Okumu, not Otieno, but Bernard Okumu is coming up next with sports news. Have a good night.
And in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
And thank you so much for staying with us. It is time for the latest from the sports desk. I'm Bernard Okumu. And World Football Governing Body FIFA has reiterated its commitment to mediating the leadership wrangles bedeviling Football Kenya Federation, FKF. The wrangle pits FKF President Hussein Mohamed against his deputy McDonald Mariga and 9 other FKF National Executive Committee members following the move by the latter to oust the president. Hussein, however, got a reprieve after FIFA rejected his suspension, citing the contravention of Article 41 of FKF Constitution, which spells out how officials can be suspended or dismissed. In a late address to FKF on Tuesday and signed by FIFA governance team lead Ahmed Haraz, the world governing body indicated that it's set to convene a joint meeting between the FKF and Confederation of Africa Football CAF officials after June 18th. FIFA also called on the FKF NEC members to refrain from convening other meetings until the joint meeting is held. And the national men's soccer team Harambee Stars arrived in South Africa ahead of the international friendly match against Lesotho. Kenya will face Lesotho in a two-legged fixture, with the first tie set to be played Thursday, June 4th at the Lucas Moripe Stadium, Pretoria in South Africa. The second match should be held at the same venue 3 days later. Kenya was scheduled to play Kyrgyzstan and Palestine, but the decision was crushed with FKF terming logistical challenges as the reasons for the changes. Harambee Stars head coach Benny McCarthy, in the meantime, has among changes to the initial squad announced 2 weeks ago. Job Ochieng, Ryan Ogam and Brian Omondi have been excluded from the squad, and in their place, Amos Nondi, Kelly Madada and Brian Brire were called up. Kenya is using the friendlies to prepare for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, albeit having already qualified as co-hosts. Kenya is pooled in Group D alongside South Africa, Eritrea and Guinea.
2 friendly matches came at a good time because it was just that the season is finished, and we have a lot of new Kenyan base players that's playing abroad, and that we haven't had an opportunity to watch them, unfortunately. So now this gives us a good indication of to see the levels and the quality they have.
Our take is just to win, because we are building a team, and you know that African Cup of Nations is in Kenya. So this is the best time to build a team that will be ready for next year. So this kind of friendlies are always good for us.
I had a good season. I scored a lot of goals, and I'm trying to carry that confidence and momentum to Kenya, and hopefully I can give a few good performances for the country.
Very explosive. I'm a good line keeper, and in Europe it's very important to also be good with the feet, so I can play really good with the feet, and I'm good in the short passes and stuff.
And Harambee Starlets head coach Beldino Demba is eyeing impressive results in the forthcoming Four Nations friendly matches. Starlets is set to feature in the Four Nations tournament that will be played in Lusaka, Zambia from 6th to 9th of June. The tournament has attracted host Zambia, Kenya, Lesotho and Zimbabwe. Kenya will play Zambia on June 6th while Lesotho will play Zimbabwe. The winners of the two fixtures will meet in the final while the losers will square it out in the 3rd and 4th place playoff. Meanwhile, Harambee Starlets forward and captain Mwanalima Adam is expected to arrive in the country tonight ahead of the friendly matches. Mwanalima, who plies her trade with Denmark's HB Kog, is set to join the camp, but head coach Beldin will miss the services of defender Enes Mango and goalkeeper Lilian Awor, who failed to secure their release in time from their Romanian club Farul Constanta, as well as Simba Queens Gentil Shikangwa and Elizabeth Wamboi. Kenya will be using the friendly matches to prepare for the 2026 Africa Women's Cup of Nations scheduled July 25th to August 16th in Morocco.
Tutapik kutoka pale tuliachia FIFA series tukiendelea juu pia tutaki kuangusha watu tu coach juu wanajua pale walituachia na wanajua weakness yetu vile tulicheza FIFA series na strong point yetu, so ni kurudi kuangalia pale tulikosea na pale tulifanya poa correct.
Of course I spoke about Simba players. Simba have released 2 players, Fasila and the deputy captain, that is Ruth, and they have not released the rest of the players that we asked for.
Good job.
And staying with soccer, where FKF Premier League champions Gor Mahia have received a major boost after the club's patron Eliud Owalo awarded the team 1 million shillings in recognition of their recent 2025-2026 FKF PL triumph. Now the team was hosted to a luncheon following the impressive showing in the local and domestic league. Now Gor Mahia will be also watching out for the 2025-2026 FK Premier, or rather the CAF Champions League matches. Speaking during the event, Owalo congratulated the team for the achievement and assured the players and technical bench of continued support ahead of next season. He challenged the club to maintain their winning mentality and give their best in pursuit of both the FKF Premier League title and success in the CAF Champions League matches. The financial reward is expected to further motivate the record Kenyan Premier League champions as they prepare for another competitive season.
Next season, we could replicate the feat that was achieved by the 1987 team by making our fans proud by winning the CAF Champions League this coming season. We have got the capacity, the capability, the wherewithal. We have the players, and based, of course, on guidance from the technical bench working with the office, I believe that we will be able to strengthen the team in areas where we need a little bit of reinforcement.
And definitely that's a good gesture from the club patron. Gor Mahia will be returning to the continental scene in the CAF Champions League, and we wish them all the best. May they emulate the 1987 team that went all the way to winning the Mandela Cup. Now that's today's CAF Confederations Cup. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernardo Kumo. Back to Odim and Tom.
Well, that does it for Prime Edition, coming to you this Tuesday. We want to thank you for watching. I'm Tom Mboya, wishing you a pleasant evening. Good night.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Lensa Odinga. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow. Uwe fiti mambo ya returns.